Before we begin, let me ask you a very simple question, one that sounds ordinary but carries extraordinary power. If your life improves just a little every day, where will you be after 1 year? Most people underestimate small steps because they are obsessed with big jumps. They want instant success, instant change, instant happiness. But life doesn't work on instant noodles logic. Life works on slow cooking. And that is where the magic of improving yourself just 1% every day comes in. In 2026, you don't need to become someone else. You don't need to copy anybody's lifestyle or routine or journey. You don't need to fix everything at once. All you need is one simple commitment. Today, I will be 1% better than yesterday. Not perfect, just better. That 1% may look small, almost insignificant, but over time it becomes unstoppable. There is a reason why many spiritual teachers, athletes, successful leaders, and wise people focus on daily discipline rather than daily motivation. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is practical. Motivation comes and goes like weather. Discipline stays like the sun. When you improve 1% every day, you are not relying on mood. You are relying on consistency, and consistency always beats intensity. Let me share a small story. There was a man who wanted to climb a mountain. He looked at the peak every day and felt overwhelmed. It seemed impossible. Another man didn't look at the peak. He just focused on taking one step at a time. Day by day, step by step, he reached the top. When asked how he did it, he smiled and said, "I didn't climb the mountain in one day. I just walked a little higher every day." That is the philosophy of 1% growth. In 2026, your biggest enemy is not failure. It is stagnation. It is repeating the same habits, the same excuses, the same routines, and expecting a different result. Improving 1% daily breaks the cycle gently, without pressure. You don't shock your system, you train it. You don't force change, you allow growth. 1% improvement can be waking up 10 minutes earlier. It can be drinking more water. It can be reading 2 pages of a good book. It can be choosing silence instead of reacting. It can be choosing movement instead of laziness. It can be choosing kindness instead of ego. These things don't look heroic, but they are life-changing. There is a beautiful story of a sculptor who was carving a massive stone. Someone watching him asked, "How do you know where to hit the stone?" The sculptor replied, "I don't create the statue. I just remove what doesn't belong." Improving 1% every day is exactly that. You are not becoming someone new. You are slowly removing what doesn't serve you anymore. Most people wait for January, Monday, or the right time. But growth doesn't need a perfect calendar. Growth needs commitment. 1% improvement today matters more than a perfect plan tomorrow. When you delay improvement, life doesn't pause. It keeps moving. Either you grow with it or you struggle against it. In 2026, imagine the compound effect of 1% growth. 1% better thinking, 1% better health, 1% better communication, 1% better focus, 1% better emotional control. Over months, this small progress creates massive transformation. Just like money grows with compound interest, your habits grow with compound effort. There was once a teacher who gave 2 students the same task, to water a plant daily. One student watered it heavily once a week, the other watered it lightly every day. After some time, the first plant withered, the second flourished. Growth does not need overload, it needs regular care. Improving 1% every day also teaches patience. You stop rushing life. You stop comparing your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. You understand that real growth is quiet. Loud growth is often short-lived. Quiet growth lasts. You also learn self-respect through this process. Every day you keep a small promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Confidence doesn't come from achievements alone. It comes from trust. Trust that you will do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. 2026, many people will talk about big goals. Few will talk about small habits. Be among the few. Big goals excite the ego. Small habits transform character. And character determines destiny. There is another story worth reflecting on. A man once asked a monk, "How long will it take me to change my life?" The monk replied, How long did it take you to mess it up? Change doesn't happen overnight, but neither did your current situation. 1% daily is fair, realistic, and sustainable. Some days, your 1% will feel easy. Some days, it will feel heavy. But remember, progress is not about feeling good. It is about becoming better. Even on bad days, 1% counts. Especially on bad days. You don't need to do more, you need to do better. Better choices, better reactions, better use of time, better care of mind and body. 1% improvement makes you more mindful. You stop living on autopilot. You start living with awareness. In this journey, forgive yourself often. Growth is not linear. There will be days you slip. That doesn't cancel your progress. Don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Reset, restart, continue. 1% tomorrow is still possible. As 2026 moves forward, you may not notice dramatic changes immediately, but one day you will look back and realize you are no longer who you used to be. Your reactions will be calmer, your habits will be stronger, your confidence will be quieter, your life will feel more aligned. People may ask what changed, and you may not have a dramatic answer. You may simply say, I started taking myself seriously. Improving 1% every day is a form of self-love. It says, I respect my future enough to act today. It says, I may not control everything, but I control my effort. It says, I choose progress over perfection. So in 2026, don't aim to transform your life in one moment. Aim to honor your life in small moments every day. Wake up a little better, think a little clearer, act a little wiser, rest a little deeper, love a little kinder. Because at the end of the year, it won't be the big resolutions that define you. It will be the small decisions you made consistently. And when you commit to improving yourself 1% every day, you are not just changing your year, you are changing your direction. And direction, not speed, decides where you end up. And as you continue walking on this path, something very subtle yet powerful begins to happen inside you. You stop seeking validation from the outside world. Earlier, you needed appreciation to feel motivated. You needed applause to feel worthy. But now, your growth itself becomes your reward. You start feeling proud, not because people noticed you, but because you didn't give up on yourself. Improving 1% every day slowly changes your identity. You no longer say, I want to be disciplined. You become a disciplined person. You no longer say, I want to be calm. You become someone who responds, not reacts. Identity shift is the most powerful transformation. Because habits tied to identity don't need force. They flow naturally. In 2026, distractions will be louder than ever. Social media will show you lives that look perfect. People will showcase success without showing struggle. If you are not careful, comparison will steal your peace. But when your focus is on becoming 1% better than yesterday, comparison loses its grip. You are no longer running someone else's race. You are walking your own path at your own pace. There is a simple truth many people ignore. Consistency is a form of intelligence. It means you understand that energy is limited, but direction is powerful. You don't burn out. You build up. You don't exhaust yourself with extremes. You empower yourself with balance. 1% improvement also teaches humility. You realize you are a work in progress. You stop pretending to have everything figured out. You stay curious, you stay open, you stay grounded. And this humility makes learning easier, relationships healthier, and growth deeper. Let me tell you about a woman who decided to change her life, not by doing everything at once, but by doing one small thing right every day. She didn't overhaul her entire routine. She simply decided to keep one promise to herself daily. Some days it was a walk, some days it was silence, some days it was saying no. Over time, her anxiety reduced, her confidence grew, and her life became lighter. When asked what changed, she said, I stopped abandoning myself. That is what 1% improvement really is. It is choosing yourself every day, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when no one claps. As you keep going, You will notice your tolerance for negativity reduces. Things that once drained you will no longer attract you. You will protect your time more, your energy more, your peace more. Not because you became selfish, but because you became aware. In 2026, time will move fast. Months will pass quickly. If you don't grow intentionally, you will grow accidentally. And accidental growth often leads to regret. But intentional 1% growth leads to fulfillment. You won't just reach goals, you will become someone capable of handling success with grace. There is also a spiritual dimension to this journey. When you improve a little every day, you align effort with faith. You do your part sincerely and leave the rest to life. You stop forcing outcomes. You focus on actions. And life has a beautiful way of responding to sincere effort. Some days you will feel stuck. Some days you will feel slow. Remember, slow growth is still growth. A tree doesn't grow faster because you shout at it. It grows because you water it regularly. Be patient with yourself. You are not late. You are not behind. You are becoming. And one day, without realizing it, you will inspire others. Not by preaching, not by showing off, but by example. People will feel your calm. They will notice your discipline. They will respect your boundaries. And they will wonder how you changed so much. You will smile because you know the truth. It wasn't one big decision. It was hundreds of small ones. So continue. Even when progress feels invisible, even when results are delayed, even when motivation is low, keep showing up. 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% again. Because when you honor small improvements daily, life honors you with big transformations over time. And that is how 2026 becomes not just another year, but a turning point in your life. And as this journey deepens, you begin to understand something very liberating. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is only asking you to be sincere. 1% improvement is sincerity in action. It is saying, I may not have control over everything, but I have control over this one step today. Slowly, you stop fighting yourself. Earlier, you were harsh. You blamed yourself for not doing enough. You compared your chapter 2 with someone else's chapter 20. Now, you become gentle yet firm. Gentle in understanding your limitations, firm in honoring your commitments. This balance creates inner peace. You also realize that motivation is unreliable. Some days it comes, some days it disappears. But discipline, even in its smallest form, stays. 1% improvement does not depend on mood, it depends on values. And values don't change every morning. There is a beautiful story of a man who wanted to climb a mountain. Every day he looked at the peak and felt overwhelmed. One day an old monk told him, stop looking at the mountain, look at your next step. The man followed this advice, step by step, day by day, without obsession, without panic. He reached the top. Most people fail not because the goal is big, but because they try to swallow the entire journey at once. In 2026, life will test your patience. Results may not come when you expect them. But remember, growth happens quietly. Just like seeds grow underground before breaking the soil, your efforts are working even when you can't see them. 1% improvement also changes how you deal with failure. Failure no longer destroys you. It educates you. You don't ask, why am I like this? You ask, what can I adjust by 1%? This question saves you from self-hate and keeps you moving forward. You will also know, ties your relationships improving. When you grow patiently, you stop demanding instant change from others. You listen better. You judge less. You understand more. Because when you are kind to your own growth, kindness flows outward naturally. There will be moments in 2026 when old habits try to return. Don't panic. Regression is part of progress. Falling back doesn't erase growth, quitting does. Get up gently. Resume calmly, continue faithfully. Another beautiful shift happens. Your confidence becomes quiet. You don't announce your plans. You don't explain your discipline. You let consistency speak. And consistency speaks louder than words ever can. 1% growth also teaches gratitude. You start appreciating small wins, a focused hour, a calm reaction, a healthy choice. Gratitude multiplies motivation, and motivation fuels consistency. And then one day you will look back and realize something magical. The person you were waiting to become, you already are. Not perfect, but stronger, clearer, calmer, more aligned. This is the power of 1% every day. It doesn't change your life overnight. It changes your life forever.
So, as 2026 unfolds, don't chase dramatic transformations. Chase daily alignment. Don't aim to impress the world.
Aim to improve your inner world. Because when you become better quietly, life becomes better naturally. Keep going. Keep growing. 1% at a time. And as you continue walking this path, something very subtle yet powerful begins to happen inside you. You stop measuring your life by external applause. Earlier, success meant being seen, being praised, being validated. Now, success means sleeping peacefully at night, knowing you lived the day with intention. This inner shift is a real upgrade. You begin to understand that time is not just passing, it is shaping you. Every habit you repeat is casting a vote for the person you will become. 1% improvement is not about pressure, it is about responsibility. Responsibility for your thoughts, your words, your reactions, and your priorities. It is a simple story of a teacher who used to ask his students to sharpen their pencils every morning. Some students complained why every day. The teacher smiled and said, "Because every day you write your life story. A dull pencil can still write, but it will struggle." In the same way, daily improvement sharpens you. Life doesn't stop testing you, but you handle it better. In 2026, distractions will be everywhere. Noise will be loud. Opinions will be endless. Comparisons will be tempting. But when you commit to 1% growth, you learn the art of focus. You stop reacting to everything. You choose what deserves your energy. This choice alone saves years of emotional exhaustion. You also start respecting your own time. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-giving. You stop trying to fix everyone. Not because you become selfish, but because you become wise. You realize that pouring into yourself allows you to genuinely serve others later. 1% improvement teaches you patience with destiny. You stop forcing timelines. You trust the process. You show up daily even when the outcome is uncertain. This trust builds faith. Not blind faith, but faith backed by effort. There will be days when improvement feels invisible. Days when you question if anything is changing. On such days, remember this: erosion shapes mountains, not earthquakes. Quiet consistency always outlasts sudden intensity. You also learn to forgive yourself faster. Earlier, one bad day would spiral into self-criticism. Now, you pause, breathe, correct, and move forward. Emotional maturity is not about never falling, it is about not staying down. As the months pass, you notice that your mindset becomes your biggest asset. Problems don't disappear, but your panic does. See, challenges don't stop, but your resilience grows. This is the compound effect of 1% growth. And then comes a beautiful realization. You don't need to escape your life to improve it. You don't